In my view, when you start to use conditionals, now you're actually starting to learn to code. Up until now, you've been learning building blocks. Now you actually get to build something. So an if statement tests a condition. By testing, we mean we look and see, is it true or false? The JavaScript that you write allows that condition to be evaluated. And depending on whether it returns true or false, something happens or it doesn't. So now you probably understand why we've been obsessing about true and false so much. So let's do a really basic if statement, but first let's make something equal something. So let's say, say it's like a game and it's your health level, right? So let's say your health level is at 100 and that's the highest level in the game. So a typical little if statement would be if health level equals 100, console log, you have all your health points. And then you close the curly braces. So before I press enter or return, let's look at how this is set up. First, we have the keyword if, and whether you've got a bunch of statements here or just one, you always have to start with if, not the other statements we're going to talk about in a moment. If is followed by a condition, which should be in parentheses. The parentheses are followed by a pair of curly braces. There's the first one, there's the last one. Inside the curly braces, we can have one statement or lots of statements. So in teaching, we usually use one console log, but in a real program, you might have many lines, or you might also call functions, which we haven't even talked about yet. You don't need to put a semicolon after the curly brace, and when I hit return, the console log executes because the condition is true. Now, if I wrote the same thing, if health level were equal to anything other than 100, right? I said it has to be equivalent to 100. Nothing would have been printed. Simply nothing would have happened. What if I want a response either way? I want a response if the health level is 100. So we'll do the same one. Don't worry, there's going to be something new in a sec. And if it's not, I want a different message. Then you would add else. There's only two conditions you want to test for. Either it is equal to 100 or it's not. So we simply say else, and then we write another statement. And again, there could be a lot of things in here. In a real code for the web, you probably wouldn't have a console log, but again, to learn. You have lost health points. And then you close the curly brace. Now when I press return, this is going to execute. And think for a minute before I do, what is the health level? Have I changed it, right? I initially set it to 100. Have I changed it anywhere here? No, I haven't. So what's going to print? This, right? Now, if I do change health level equals, and remember, I'm reassigning a variable that's already been set. So I don't say let again. I've only said let once. So let's say it's 80. It could be anything other than 100. Okay, and let me clear so we can start fresh. All right, so I have changed the health level to 80. What's going to happen now? The else instructions are executed because this was not true. It was false. Therefore, this did not happen. And we move on to the next condition. This is a crucial thing to understand about if statements. If a condition is false, the block beneath that condition is not executed. So the block is everything that's in that first set of curly braces. If the condition in parentheses is false, that stuff does not run. And we move on to the next thing, which else means anything else, and then this block does run. This block will execute, as you saw here. In the next video, we'll see what happens if we want to test more than 2 conditions.